predict why you're going to be broke one day.
Oh, Lord. Already am.
Yeah.
Here we go.
A little late for
I
that.
love
All right,
it. My favorite
down.
part of this record is the suspenders.
I love the suspenders.
You know, I wondered, where's the two belt? You know,
Is this a green hue or do we got a green shirt here? Is it just on the photo?
Looks like a
Both,
green
both.
tee.
It's a green shirt.
hey, this was taken from in Dumbo before the hipsters showed up. Downtown Brooklyn.
It's all
no
like a
hipsters
park.
yet.
It's all a very fancy park now.
So,
Tell us about this record coming off October Rust. How long did you tour on October Rust before?
well, not as long as Bloody Kisses. Bloody Kisses we did like 18 months.
October Rust, we toured for like 14 months on it. This was like, I don't know, maybe a year.
So October
The touring
Rust,
cycles got a lot shorter with this record.
like a lot of people, you know, I mean, it's up in the air. It's fans of it. A lot of people, this is their favorite record. You know,
Absolutely.
a lot of people, it's Bloody Kisses. But at the time this record came out, you know, we were coming off a platinum selling record, which was Bloody Kisses.
It was gold. It went platinum years later.
Oh, okay.
Well, whatever. It was
Years later.
It's big.
this.
pretty good, so.
This didn't even sell 300,000. So at the time, it was considered.
That was
failure.
gold.
Not when it came out, 97.
No, it went gold by like 98.
So it was.
I remember this being a very
here we go.
big disappointment.
I
Ding,
remember
ding,
the
ding.
steak dinner that we got from Peter Luger's for getting it.
There you go. That's what it's about. So you felt like the pressure from the label or whatever that this was commercially
A failure. Yeah, that's what I remember.
The label saw it as a failure also.
Yeah. So this was our answer to Bloody Kisses, and it took a long time to become a classic album. You know, we needed it right at the moment, and we didn't get it. So, you know, there was a lot of disappointment in it. You know, even though we thought we put out a great record, it just was one of those things where I think it just took time
It's
to
dense.
sink into the public. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean?
Very dense.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of information.
Yeah, it's
To the eeriness. So, you know, we wanted to go from 700,000, whatever that sold at the time, to, you know, 2 million, and we didn't. And
I remember when Stefan, hanging out with Stefan, this guy that worked at the label, and we were talking about this record at the time, and he was saying that it was a failure, and that the actual expectation for this record, 7 million.
of course it's gonna be failure.
Bloody Kisses went gold, so of course, this next record, we expect 7 million in sales.
15 times better.
Gosh.
7 million. I was like,
crazy.
well, what?
Bloody Kisses was actually above gold in sales. It just didn't get to platinum yet.
Oh yeah,
It was
a
above
gold
it,
record. Yeah.
But like it was like 700,000 or 800,000. It just didn't count. I think they didn't count.
I mean, it was
they
a
forgot
lot.
to count digital sales.
There weren't digital sales then.
Oh, whatever the hell it was.
They forgot the digitals in the future.
Yeah, oh geez.
They
Yeah.
left
What
the
was there?
digitals in the future.
What's that?
There was.
There was the mail order stuff.
Mail
helped
order.
Put it
It was
over.
the mail order stuff?
Helped get it certified platinum.
Yeah.
Like Columbia House and things like that. Like, you know, like that wasn't taken into account. They were just going by SoundScan numbers. And then it was like, you know, well, what about this other stuff, whatever? And then it was like, oh, you actually did sell 1 million records. And then we got our plaques.
So we were platinum, we just didn't know it.
Yeah.
Until this failed.
Until this failed.
Well, they let you know.
But, you know, of course the album is not a failure. You know, in the end, it's not a failure. You know, it went on to be a very influential album.
Of course, yeah.
It just took longer for it to sink into the consciousness.
And like you said, like that's interesting. You said it's like we needed it now. You needed it then.
You always need
We
it.
were only home. We were only home. We finished touring for Bloody Kisses. We were only home. This record was recorded. Everything was done within 6 months. 6 months later, we were back on the road with Ozzy.
It's quick.
Wow.
And Josh was on the phone in hotel rooms telling Mike Marciano, the engineer, on what to do the mixes. The record wasn't mixed yet, and we were back on the road.
How do you do a mix on this record just without being there? How does that
Yeah.
guy? How does he handle that?
On the hotel phone.
That is how we did it.
That's
That's how Josh did it. Like, you know, the record wasn't finished yet, And what was it? There was like, we were going out on tour with Ozzy, and we were trying to, there was supposedly like one show, there was the first Ozzy show, and then there was like 2 days off. And the show was in California. And it was like, can we skip that first show so that Josh could finish the mixes? And they were like, if you're not at the first show, don't show up at all. We drove on a bus from Brooklyn to Fresno, California. Get to Fresno. Ozzy canceled the show. Remember that?
That's another one. That's another one of those right there.
So we drove all the way across country to go into 2 days off.
That's
And Josh had to, Josh was on the phone, like, you know, giving directions to the engineer on the mixes.
We kind of like by this point, you know, had a working formula. What we were trying to do. I mean, at this point, like especially with October Rust, I mean, the amount of tones and sounds got so dense that it got more complicated, but definitely had a working formula.
That record
building up.
That record was done on 24-track analog, and then there's like 50 digital tracks on it, something like that. It was like over like 60 tracks.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, it is.
Like
it's and at the time too, like, you know, like integrating, like, you know, digital and stuff. It was like a new platform.
It's innovative. It's very innovative. I mean, it sounds like a, not to say this has anything to do with the soul of the record, but it's almost like scientific in the way that things need to be arranged with something like that, so you can hear everything.
You're being forced to do it.
Yeah.
There's all the ideas and tones in there. Everything has to be separated
It has
and
to all
right.
fit.
And
Yeah.
the more elements you add, the
But that makes it so listenable now. Like, I'm sure
Yeah.
you can't see it at the time, but now it feels when you think about the mix or the panning and where things sit,
where
it's like records
where it's
are made
living.
now.
Yeah.
It's just other records weren't really being made like that at the time, especially in rock and metal. You know, I mean,
I still think it's a feat of production on Josh's behalf. You know
Of
what
course.
I mean, to get all that stuff. Okay.